Okay.
Hey, Katie. Katie, you're on mute. So who could you tell whoever the volunteer is, please?
Yep, I got it. I'm off now.
Hey, Katie. So
Hey
tell
there,
us
Mark.
about
Can you hear
yourself.
me?
What do you think about some more states now made marijuana legal?
Yeah, I think that's a big testament to how cannabis is really becoming very mainstream. It's not such a big controversial issue anymore the way that it used to be, and I think that I think that the government, it holds really tight to that drug war mentality, but I do think that it's starting to kind of let some of that go. And I think in a lot of state governments and localities that we're seeing really big steps taken to stop putting people in jail for cannabis and that kind of thing. Um, and those steps are much larger than just legalizing medical marijuana or something like that. So I think it's a good thing, and hope that it will I hope that it will open the gateway for people to start learning about hemp as food or cannabis as food, as opposed to some kind of recreational market.
Well, Katie,
Um,
why don't you tell people how you've been involved in Kentucky and you helped bring it up to the forefront. I think you were the first people that they allowed to do that.
Yeah. Well, and so just to kind of introduce myself and give a little background, my name is Katie Moyer. I'm the owner of Kentucky Hemp Works. And what we are is a seed processing facility in Christian County, Kentucky. So we're in southwest Kentucky, pretty close to Nashville, Tennessee. My sister Tanya works with me. She lives in Pennsylvania, which is where I'm originally from. She is attending here somewhere, and I don't see her on my screen, but she has a table in the exhibitor room. So you can stop by and visit with us and ask questions anytime this weekend through
Yeah,
the
she
use
is
of
in
the
room
exhibitors.
15. So room
Room
15
15.
is
Awesome.
yeah.
Yep. So that's my sister Tanya. I'm clearly not in Kentucky right now. I don't know if you can tell, but we don't have palm trees in Kentucky or beaches. But I don't know if you can see the beach behind me. I'm down in Alabama, down at the Gulf, and I'm just here for a few days of R&R, which is exciting to be. It's exciting to be on this conference because listening to everyone is also kind of like a rejuvenation. So it's kind of perfect for being next to the ocean and all this water. So at any rate, I'm out at the moment, but so what we do when we're back in Kentucky is we cold press hemp seeds to squeeze out the food oil that's inside of those seeds. We also work with the roots of the plant for various topical uses. We work with the CBD, we work with the stalks. We try to utilize every part of the plant for different things. So I never really had an intention of starting this kind of business. But what I was interested in from the beginning was sort of the the individual rights that we have that says that when you have this plant that God created, he put it here for us. You know, the universe and our creator created this bountiful nature for us to enjoy and partake in and take care of. So to me, it was a property rights issue, and it's something that I believe strongly in, and it's all I believe in all property rights. Um, but this was one, and I felt, well, you know, if we're here in Kentucky, we're in a big ag community. There's a lot of agriculture here. There's a lot of veterans here. We have an army base. We have a lot of anxiety issues and PTSD and trauma that comes out of that. So if we have all of these reasons to want to start producing cannabis, even if it's just hemp and we're not talking about recreational cannabis or anything like that, then why can't we do that? So to me, it was like this big affront to humanity. Like, why would they not let us do this? This is salad. This is food. This is building materials and construction. So why would they not let us simply grow it? And it became a really passionate issue for me because I was already interested in healing plants, just in general. I wasn't really thinking of cannabis as being my, I always think of cannabis as a gateway to herbalism, because for some people, the only little foray into herbalism or using, powerful herbs that they have is using cannabis. They're not out there, they're not making tea every day, and they're not growing their own herbs. They don't have mullein in their flower beds for their respiratory issues in the fall and things like that. No, they're smoking pot. But in a lot of ways, that can lead us into better health choices, because now we're like, oh, wait a minute. I knew that I could smoke pot, but I just learned that you can also use the roots and you can also eat the seeds, and it's fantastic for your digestive tract. So maybe I'm going to try some of those things too. And so I started working on this issue in Kentucky. It was a long battle. We tried to pass a bill for about 5 years, and eventually all the stars aligned and things snowballed the way that they needed to, and we legalized hemp in Kentucky. That was in 2013. In 2014, the federal farm bill passed with an amendment allowing hemp to be grown in states that had passed it on the state level. Of course, we had passed it the year before. So as soon as that farm bill was signed by the president, which was Obama at the time, we were immediately allowed to grow it. But at that point, we had just, we passed the state bill knowing that the feds had to do something. We weren't expecting them to all of a sudden move. So, so we immediately had this opportunity to grow hemp here. Nobody really knew what to do at all, including me. And I had worked on this issue. I felt very passionately about it, but I wasn't a farmer. I'm still not a farmer. At the time, I didn't even have any land, I don't think. Well, I had an acre that I live on now. I think that was, we moved in right before it passed. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I teamed up with some farmers locally, and we grew one of the first crops. It was actually the first private crop. So it wasn't grown on a university campus or anything like that.
Somebody else is on. Katie?
Did I mute myself? It said I was muted there for a second.
Room 9.
Yeah, but Sherry, I mean, Robert is still in room 6. He has to be moved to room 20 with his people because Jacob is in room 6 with his people. So I don't know who the moderator, who the volunteer is there. Who's the volunteering in room 6? Sherry, you're muted. Sherry, you're muted.
Johnny's in number 6.
Okay, well, Johnny has to take care of number 6.
So we're bringing Jacob in. Okay, got it.
Who's in the panel room?
Panel room. They're emptying out. They're going into their own.
Who is in the panel room?
Victor was.
Okay, so he has to take care of that. And I told Vicky, I want everybody that's in the panel room to go into the main stage.
They're coming out of the panel. They want to continue conversation. They're going.
Mark,
They have to go
Room 9.
and Jacob,
you switched me into Robert Young's room.
I know Johnny is not handling that, and he should be handling that.
So Vicky, we need to move Robert Young into his own room if he wants to continue. That's room number 20, and then we're going to.
Okay.
Then Jacob goes into the networking room number 6. And if anybody wants.
Room 9, please.
Please just write in the chat the number you want to, and then we'll get to you. Put it in the chat directly.
So Jacob will be in room 6 as soon as we get everybody out of room 6.
Oh, you just gonna give them a number. Say
Put
room
Susan
9.
in 9,
Yeah,
please.
I guess the volunteers have to have
9,
they have to have timers. They need a watch or a cell phone. I mean, you just can't let people do what they're doing.
9, please.
9.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go check on them.
yeah. That's why I need a volunteer coordinator.
Yes, I moved Mr. Jacob to the room number 6.
Okay, so everybody,
No, yeah, Jacob's in 6, And Robert's in his own?
Yeah, Robert is in his room, room number 20.
20, okay,
Whoever
perfect.
wants to listen to Jacob, which is a gem, go to room 6.
Yeah, yeah,
Whoever
Jacob,
wants to,
click on join breakout room.
stay with
Okay, so
Robert, it'll be room 20.
just move me there when you're ready.
Yeah, click on join breakout room.
But you got to move Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob goes to room 6. He's right there. You have to move him.
Yes, Jacob, click on join breakout.
Jake,
What?
Click on your name. What did he say?
It's room 9.
Click on breakout room.
Click on, okay.
click the blue button.
Got
That's the chat. You're not gonna do anything with the chat. You're not gonna do anything with the chat.
Okay,
Just
so what
close
do we
out the
do?
chat. Close out. Go to the screen. Go to
This
the
one
screen. No,
here?
no. Yeah. Hit it. Just tap it.
Yeah.
I don't see Jacob in room 1. Okay, Jacob is in number 6, perfect, okay. Just a few people left in number 1, I'll get them out.
What about 9?
We will move you. Just please type in the chat exactly the room that you want to go to. Thank you. What happened to Katie?
I'm here. Ready?
Go, Katie.
Katie, we're sorry. Go for it.
Right. So, so at any rate, I got involved in the hemp industry, started tinkering around with roots, started Kentucky Hemp Works. We started cold pressing hemp seed oil in Kentucky on a small scale. And essentially what we do is we can crush about 250 pounds of seed a day.
Room 9?
I'm sorry?
Room 9.
Say it as a sentence.
Room 9, please. Room 9.
Please stay
Everybody-
muted and chat. Put it on chat.
We did. Say something.
Yes, I did.
Who is that?
I did go. I'm sorry. I went to a room. I wanted to go to
Excuse me.
room 9.
Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Magdalena.
Magdalena.
Okay, say goodbye and we'll put you in the room. Thank you.
So we have, so what we're doing there is really,
Room 9, please.
Magdalena.
Okay, we need a timeout. Everybody, please do not disrupt the speaker. If you want to go to a room, just put it in the chat. Just put a 9 in front of your name, because if you yell it out, we don't know who's yelling where you want to go. Just put your number in front of your name in the chat and we'll move you as soon as we can. Thank you.
Go, Katie, go.
all right, no problem, no problem. It's how we have to learn how to live
That's
in a digital world like this. So, so essentially to kind of just wrap up my, talking about what I'm doing, we work with the whole plant, but what our main goal has always been to do is to educate people and to sort of fuel that passion of eating healthy and having healthy ingredients going into your bodies at the same time. So, even if we're talking about something that's very trendy, like CBD. So CBD is the very exciting, trendy market right now. It's what everybody's interested in. And so we want to bring CBD to people, but we also want to make sure that we're not giving them ingredients that are not healthy. We only use hemp seed oil and CBD extract in our CBD tinctures, because then you're getting some of your healthy omegas, you're getting health benefits besides the CBD, and you're not getting flavorings and colorings and things that maybe aren't really that beneficial in the first place. So, so what we really focus on, okay, so what I wanted to talk about was how cannabis works with your physical, your emotional, your spiritual well-being, how you feel, not only when you're ingesting it as, smoking or even CBD tinctures, but how your body feels and your body reacts to having ample amounts of protein, good amounts of fiber. I would say probably most of us, if we're at this sort of event this weekend, we're familiar with health foods and why good health starts in our gut. We know that good gut health, good gut bacteria, nice, clean digestive tract, plenty of fiber, those things are all good for everybody. And of course, there's outliers out there, but those are generally good health topics people are just familiar with. We want to eat plenty of fiber, and we want to have good protein in our diets. That sort of thing, when you start feeding your body good protein, those are the building blocks of life. Those are the building blocks of our physical bodies that we have while we're here. So if we're constantly providing ourselves, our bodies, with those building blocks, and they're good quality proteins, we're not talking about something that was fermented in a lab, or maybe not fermented is probably not the right word, but created in a lab. I'm a big fan of fermented foods, not that that's a bad thing, but at any rate, you know, we have good proteins that are grown from the earth. They can be given good nutrients. And of course, cannabis is a plant that gives you what you put into it. So if you put a lot of good energy, nutrients, soil, water, clean water, good sunlight, you put all kinds of that into your cannabis plants, that's what you'll get out of it. You'll get a good product, a much better, much healthier product than what it would be if you just tossed the seeds in the ground and you didn't take care of them. And I'm a big proponent of singing to your plants, because I think that is important too. But at any rate, what's important is that it's providing these building blocks of life, these proteins that we need to survive, not only to survive, but to have good brain function and good cardiovascular function. And then it's also providing the fiber that you need to have good digestive function. And so what do we say the three main functions of our body? We have cardiovascular, respiratory, and digestive. Those are the three main components of what sort of keeps us going and keeps us running well. So here you have a plant that is good for all of those things, and also happens to be great for your neurological health, which sort of then segues us from our digestive tract and our physical bodies. It sort of segues us into, well, now we're supporting our neurological system. Now we're getting into our energetic bodies and how the energy flows through our bodies. So with a lot of the energy workers that I've met and that I've learned from, this is me as a student learning, I'm passing on what I've learned from others, is that when we have pain in our bodies, we have blockages of energy. And so when you have things, plant-based medicines, I'm going to say medicine, although that's a sketchy word, because, you know, cannabis is not FDA approved. That's something we just have to deal with. We can't make medical claims. But when you have something that's plant-based, like this food or medicine that you get from cannabis, and it's actually, you know, like my shoulder hurts right now. I'm having some issues with my right shoulder. And it's bothering me, but I'm using this root salve that we make from the seeds of the plant and the roots of the plant. These are two underutilized parts of the plant that nobody's using for medicinal marijuana or medicinal hemp or anything like that. We're talking about roots and the seeds, but I can put those on my joints, and it actually reduces the inflammation that I'm feeling. And it's in my joints, it's in my nerves. We have a lot of people who use it for nerve pain, and it's helping, but it's allowing the body to heal itself by giving my body the building blocks that it needs to function properly and to create new healthy cells. So that's where, you know, when I say we're focused on the food, but it's a segue from the medicine. But they're two very important different parts of the plant. You know, we're also talking about a plant that also gives us building materials and clothing, and we can make drinks from it. We can make all kinds of things from it. But specifically for our body, as we're ingesting it, we're feeding ourselves. We're not only taking medicine for some pain or taking some tinctures or vaping for anxiety. You know, we also have an opportunity to feed ourselves. So I mentioned that we use hemp seed oil in our CBD extract. That's because the way that I see it, it's almost like I'm sneaking some really good, healthy amino acids into your CBD so that you have to take them. And I laugh about that to myself a lot because the CBD has become so popular and so mainstream that people are ignoring the very big picture of what cannabis can do for us. So like I said, you know, sometimes, you know, food, medicine, clothing, building materials, car parts, plastics, insulation. Look around you. Everything that you see around you can be built with cannabis. So to you know, see that we have this major of our retail markets out there and they're all laser focused on CBD. It's good in a way because it's bringing cannabis into the mainstream. It's bringing it into the mainstream as something that maybe won't die. But at the same time, it's giving that gateway. You know, people say cannabis is a gateway drug. Well, I think cannabis is a gateway to herbalism. I think it's a gateway to spiritualism. So, you know, they're like, oh, I'm going to try this CBD. It's so popular and trendy and maybe it'll help with my joint pain. And the next thing you know, they're learning about other, you know, herbal tincture.
She froze. Hello? We're all frozen.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you now. We
now I can hear
froze
you.
for a minute. I'm sorry for the interruption.
I froze and then I got kicked out. Is that what happened? Okay, so I'll just keep going. Was I talking for a long time without being on, I wonder?
No, not really.
Okay, because I could do that. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I just all of a sudden shut me off, but all right, I'm back. So, okay. Where should I go next? I wonder. I was kind of on a roll but anyway, well, so I mentioned how cannabis is beneficial to us as a food, how that sort of segues into our emotional health, you know, and our neurological pathways. Those are what, you know, when we have issues with anxiety or issues with depression or issues with fibromyalgia or seizures or anything that's a neurological condition, the typical reaction from the medical society for that is throw some gabapentin at them or, you know, give them some anti-seizure medicine, even if it's because they have migraines or, you know, there's some pharmaceutical options for those things. And most of them are terrifying. And I mean, the drugs are terrifying and a lot of people are very unhappy with them. And while it works for some, there's a lot of people who have really nasty side effects from that. So cannabis does segue into that, you know, helping with this neurological health. And it's not that it's just this silver bullet that will cure seizures and make your migraines go away and solve anxiety for the world. But what it's doing is it's giving your body what it needs to build those neuro pathways. You know, it's the CBD and cannabis. binds to our neurological receptors, and it creates sort of, we have this myelin sheath on our neurological receptors.
What happened?
Her internet sucks.
Vicky says that it's her internet
I'm
issue.
sorry. Okay. Should I keep trying it?
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
All right.
I think
So
you have a
essentially-
bad internet connection, honey.
Me?
Yeah.
It should be good, but also I'll try not to move too much.
No problem. Go on. Go on.
So do we have until, do you think now would be a good time maybe to open up for questions?
You have 10 minutes left, so whatever you have to do to wrap up.
I think if there are any questions, I'd like to see what you guys want to know. And if not, I'd be happy to just ramble for another 10 minutes.
Okay. So you have about another 5 minutes, or if you want,
5.
and if you want, you can either go into your sister's room where people can ask questions, or you can go into the Q&A room for questions. What do you prefer?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if there is any kind of burning questions right now, I'll be.
The legality. I'm asking for someone who's thinking of going into this, like legality. What would he have to do to go into, so he can understand the legality of things?
Of actually starting a business?
Yes.
Okay. So of course, every state is going to be a little different. Some states don't have even legal hemp. Some states have legal marijuana. Some states have only marijuana for medicinal use. And I would say most states have a tremendous amount of regulations and hoops to jump through to make it very difficult, because quite frankly, if anybody's going to be successful, they're going to figure out how to get in on it a little bit. So the answer, it's not a simple cut and dry answer. It would be different based on what state you're in. But then there's in which one?
New York.
You're in New York.
City. Yeah. State. New York State.
I actually don't know off the top of my head what New York's cannabis laws are right now. They're changing so quickly. They're changing, and more states are coming on board. I'm sorry.
We have a question.
Cuomo said that this year he wants to get something passed.
Yeah.
They make so much money from it. It's like prohibition. I mean,
fibromyalgia.
They might as well make money for it. Unfortunately, they start controlling it, and a lot of times they control it. The quality is not so good, and they add chemicals and blah 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 blah.
We have a question.
Hi, Nicole.
We have a question
Yes.
from one of our guests. Can one form dependency on CBD after a few days, weeks, or months? What sort of withdrawal could take place, and is it always easy to ease that?
Yes, so I have actually I've been doing this since 2014 and working with CBD since 2015. I'm still learning, but I have not heard of anyone actually having withdrawals from it. Now, where I have seen where, somebody can notice that they don't have it. So with the CBD, for example, if you don't take it and your pain comes back, that's not really a withdrawal side effect. That's more of a side effect that you're not getting those building blocks that you need. So we don't really have any examples of people having withdrawals from CBD. Now, there was another question about hemp and fibromyalgia. That's another, we have a lot of people who use it for fibromyalgia. We can't make the medical claims, but when we started Kentucky Hemp Works, we didn't start with CBD. We started with the roots. The root salve that we made, which was a topical salve, was just something we were trying out. It happened to work well for dozens and dozens of people, and then that turned into hundreds of people, and now it's been thousands of people. And but it had nothing to do with the CBD. But the roots actually help with that, the nerve pain, muscle pain, joint pain, those kinds of things. So even from the very beginning, we had a lot of people using it for fibromyalgia. And if you want to stop by the table afterwards, my sister Tanya actually could probably tell you more about that, because I never had fibro. So a lot of times it's hard for me to relate. But she has dealt with pain over the years and uses cannabis exclusively now.
So Katie, did you want to go into the room with your sister, or did you want to go into a different room for questions?
Just in there with Tanya and the ex. Yeah, that'll be fine.
So I love it. So we're going to move Katie into room 15, and her sister's there with the whole exhibit booth. And you can ask Katie more and actually see it there and probably get some nice discounts and the whole thing. But no, I mean,
thank you all so much.
She's never found anybody that was dependent on it, had withdrawals from it, etc. And she's pretty much an expert at it. You know, I mean, she goes from C to the end. So thank you, Katie. And
Thank you.
yeah.